You've probably felt it before. That tug of war in your mind when you do something that doesn't quite match who you believe you are. Like when you say, "I'm done with fast food," and then find yourself in the drive-thru at 11 p.m., windows down, fries in hand, telling yourself it's just a bad day exception. Or when you call someone out for being flaky, but deep down, you know you've done the same thing more than once. It's not just guilt. It's not just hypocrisy. It's something far sneakier. A silent battle behind your eyes. And if you've ever walked away from a decision thinking, "Why did I just do that?" You're about to understand why. But first, you need to hear about the man who bet his career on a lie and ended up changing the way we understand the human mind forever. It was the 1950s. A psychologist named Leon Festinger came across a group that believed the world was ending on a specific date. They were so convinced they sold their homes, quit jobs, and left their families. The date came, and nothing happened. The world kept turning. You'd think they'd feel embarrassed, betrayed, maybe even furious. But what happened next? They believed even more strongly that they'd been right, that their faith had actually saved the world. Festinger watched this unfold, and what he discovered would flip modern psychology on its head. He called it cognitive dissonance, the uncomfortable tension that arises when our actions clash with our beliefs. And once you spot it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Let's break it down. Your brain likes things to make sense. It wants harmony between what you believe and what you do. But life is messy. You believe in eating healthy, yet you eat cake at midnight. You believe in kindness, yet snap at your partner during a stressful morning. This mismatch? It creates mental friction. It feels like a little alarm going off in your brain. Something's off. So what do? We adjust. But here's the twist. We don't always adjust our behavior. More often, we change our beliefs after the fact to match what we've already done. Why? Because it's easier on the ego. Take this common example. A person cheats on a diet. Instead of admitting the mistake, they might say, "Well, this diet's too restrictive anyway," or "Life's short, one cookie won't kill me." See what just happened? They didn't change the behavior. They changed the story. And suddenly, that uneasy feeling melts away, at least temporarily. But that trick, that mental cover-up, costs us something deeper over time. Clarity, growth, and honest self-reflection. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. The more effort we put into a choice, the harder it is to admit it was the wrong one. Think of someone who buys an overpriced car. If a friend points out better, cheaper options, the buyer might double down, but this one has personality. Or, it's a classic. Why? Because admitting they made a mistake would mean facing that uncomfortable dissonance. And humans will go to extraordinary lengths to avoid that. But what if you could use this mental mechanism to your advantage? Start here. Catch the conflict early. The moment you feel that familiar flicker of discomfort after doing something that clashes with your values, pause. Don't rush to explain it away. That discomfort is gold. It's not something to fear. It's your brain telling you something important is happening here. Most people try to smother it, but if you listen, really listen, it can reveal the parts of yourself that are ready to grow. Next, name the belief and name the behavior. For example, "I believe in being honest, but I just told a half-truth." That sounds simple, but it's powerful. By naming both sides of the dissonance, you take it out of the shadows and into the light. And once you've done that, you have a choice. Either change the action to align with your values, or, if the behavior really mattered, update your belief system consciously rather than subconsciously. The key is to choose, not just drift. There's also a way to turn cognitive dissonance into a motivational tool. Imagine telling yourself, "I'm the kind of person who follows through." Now, every time you're tempted to quit early, that dissonance will kick in. But instead of hiding from it, you can let it drive you toward the behavior that matches that identity. In other words, you use the discomfort to pull yourself forward, rather than cover your tracks. That's not just powerful, it's transformational. Still, there's something most people miss. Cognitive dissonance doesn't only show up in moments of action, it thrives in silence, in what we don't say, the apology we never made, the help we didn't offer, the boundary we didn't set. It lives in avoidance, and when you ignore that inner friction, it doesn't vanish, it lingers, and slowly, it wears down your sense of self. The more we justify, the more distance we create between who we think we are and who we're actually becoming. So, where is cognitive dissonance hiding in your life? Is it in the job you're staying in because you've already put in years, even though every morning feels like a weight on your chest? Is it in the relationship you keep explaining to your friends, trying to convince them it's fine, when even you don't believe it anymore? Or maybe it's smaller. That drawer of fitness gear that's never used, the unread self-help books, the promises whispered in the dark, never followed through. These aren't just habits or delays, they're signs. Your brain isn't at war because it's broken. It's at war because part of you knows. And now that you know too, the question becomes, what story are you going to stop telling yourself? Because here's the thing, the moment you recognize dissonance, you're no longer a puppet to it. You can choose to align, to shift, to grow, but only if you're willing to sit in that uncomfortable space, just long enough to let truth in. And once you do, you may just hear your brain, finally, stop arguing.